When you see this as a software programmer, what does it say to you?
Amateur hour. It looks like it was created by someone who's never delivered commercial software before.
Luke Chung owns a software programming company in Virginia.
A user should never see this. This would barely make beta testing. All right.
One potential problem, the website demands users input their personal information before they even begin to window shop for insurance, something retail websites like Amazon.com don't do. Programming experts say a lot of work needs to be.
If they don't change management, this project is doomed, because we've already seen what the existing management considers ready for shipping, and it's not.
All right, there you go. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. That expert that you heard from in that report on NBC happens to be none other than Luke Chung, president and founder of FMS Software Solutions, who joins us now. Hello, Luke. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on your show.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for accommodating us with the time change. I appreciate that. You know, the president today talked about thanks for accommodating us with the time change. I appreciate that. You know, the president today talked about the level of incompetence, whether it was the president, whether it was Sebelius, whether it was someone in between, the level of incompetence that had to take place for this to be launched the way it was launched, and for the software to be the kind of software it is.
I don't think you have enough time to go through that, but I can tell you that. I don't think you have enough time to go through that, but I can tell you that a web page, right? I mean, that's supposed to be so many pay grades below those roles. Now, the CTO at HHS, who's responsible for this, certainly should be you know, taken to the woodshed. But this is essentially a website to fill out a form and get insurance and a subsidy. This has nothing to do with getting health care or providing health care or even providing insurance. It's automating a paper form on a computer.
And that should be a piece of cake. Now, I know someone who told me their relative works in an IT, you know, high up in the IT world at a big. Told me their relative works in an IT, you know, high up in the IT world at a big in advance.
Yeah, well, there's always testing at the end because there's always
in advance.
Yeah, well, there's always testing at the end because there's always, but the overall design is just wrong, right? I mean, when I first said the overall design is just wrong, right? I mean, when I first started to critique the website, I just presumed it would work. I went on it and was just shocked by how poorly it was programmed, how poorly it was designed, and as a result, started to keep notes as if I were doing a quality assurance testing job. Notes as if I were doing a quality assurance testing job.
They hired a Canadian company, from what I understand. From what I understand, this Canadian company was let go from their responsibilities with the Canadian healthcare system because, from what I heard reported today at another place, it didn't go so well. It wasn't going so well. So we hired them. And what is it, $600 million?
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are. You know, I don't know. Are Canadians willing to do work Americans won't?
I guess this is one of the jobs Americans won't do, right? We need immigration. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, actually, it's a little bit finer than that. The Canadian company actually bought a company here in the Virginia area that probably did all the work. So just because the parent company's in Canada doesn't mean.
All right, now, somebody told me, though, and we're talking right now to Luke Chung, president and founder of FMS Software Solutions, that well, let me ask you, what would it have cost you and your company to design this properly? And let me ask you, what would it have cost you and your company to design this properly? And
specifications of what it is that they were trying to build. They were trying to build lots of different complex things I'm not that clear on. To me, it seems like we have a list of insurance policies that people can sign up for, and then we need to calculate the subsidies that people qualify for.
Right.
Right? And so I should be able to create something that gives you the policy without a subsidy very quickly, without having to ask for any personal information. That should just be a very simple process. That's like when you go to a e-commerce site like Best Buy or Staples or whatever, and you can line up all the different TVs that you want to choose from, or cell phones, and see a matrix and see the different features and pick one.
Right.
So that should be really simple. And then, when you go through that process, then you should say, oh, would you like to apply for a subsidy? Or would you like an estimate for what your subsidy would be? And then you could take them somewhere where they could fill in some information to estimate their subsidy with whatever they want to put in. Not personal information, not Social Security numbers, not
right, based on income, probably based on income dependence, that kind of thing, and based on that and what and the policy cost. Here's what your estimated subsidy would be. So, what do you think that should cost the government to get something like that up and running?
I'd be embarrassed for that to cost more than $1 million.
$1 million, and they spent about $600 million.
Who knows what they spent?
Well, that's what the report is. Yeah.
Right. The original number I saw was $200 million, which to me, if you break that down, $200 per hour would be 1 million man hours. Right? That's like 500 man years. I just don't see how they had time to even use that many hours. I don't know what these people would have been doing.
All right, Luke, let me ask you this also. There's a report that, and I don't know the proper terminology, and I feel stupid, that they may have to replace or redo 5 million somethings. I'm sure you've heard it too. If that's the case, if they have to replace 5 million codes or whatever the heck it is, how long before this is up and running, assuming that it's done correctly?
Yeah, I think that overall they have a bad design. So replacing code to make a bad design work, that's going in the wrong direction.
Oh, boy. Well, why don't they hire you, for crying out loud? I'm serious. I'm not kidding. All right. Well, I really appreciate your honesty and you coming on. And, they should throw you $1 million and say, do it, and then let's see where the chips fall. Because it can't be any worse, and I'm sure it wouldn't be. I'm sure it would be much, much better. Luke, thank you very much for your time, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. That's Luke Chung, president and founder of FMS, Frank, Mary, Steve, Software Solutions. $1 million. You heard what he said. Side by side to compare, like you do on Best Buy with the TVs, right? Compare the different policies, pick a policy, go to a page, input your information, requirements for subsidies, how much you make, whatever, and presto, here comes the estimated subsidy, $1 million to get it up and running. We paid over $500 million, and it don't wake, as they say in Brooklyn. It don't wake. Good job. Could I say thank you, Dr. Obama?